Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am NIK NIKAM. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use IFR ILS landing at an airport. So let us begin. So our destination is going to be George Bush Intercontinental Airport, which is going to be arrival, and our vicinity is going to be Ellington Air Force Base, which is going to be the departure. And the reason I chose this because it's got a straight path, but the straight path is fine, but we have to define something else here. I want to find out what runways are available here. Okay, so as you can see, we got runway coming here and going this way. We can actually take this runway 35R as departure. So in that way it will be much straighter. It's 25 nautical miles. And when we come here, George Bush Intercontinental Airport, we want to use IFR low altitude airways. That's the one which will allow us to use ILS runway. So I have already determined we're going to be using runway 33R ILS, and so now we have this runway 33R which is defined. And as you can see, it is a pretty straight path. We have that part taken care of, and we're going to be doing this one. Let's make sure our weather conditions are set properly. See, I don't know why it defaults to snow. I have no idea. Let's make it clear skies, daytime, so you can see things better. And we don't want any precipitation, anything like that. Lightning, we don't need any of those. Temperature, let's go in Texas, it's pretty hot here in Houston, Texas, so let's keep the temperature. We don't want any clouds and anything or like that. Okay, so the weather conditions are set. Let's begin with the flight. While this is loading, I want to show you the ILS template for runway 33R, which is the one we chose, and the radio frequency for that is 111.9. and the angle is 329, which we have to program into our Garmin 1000 monitor once the plane comes visible. And then when we reach Dudmi, we have to be at 2000 feet, and when we reach Jolt, we have to be at 1600 feet, and after that it will automatically be taken over by the ILS landing process. So those are a couple of things I want you to remember. And while I am doing that, and here's the runway 33, if you can see it here. Where is this runway 33R, which is a straight path all the way. And let's see if this has, okay, this has loaded. Now the weather is clear. This is Houston Ellington Air Force Base. All right, so let's get ready here, radio 5. So let us make sure that whatever we need, we can also use this navigation map which shows the path from the Ellington Air Force Base, and there is Dudmi, and there is Jolt, and next to that is the Houston Intercontinental Airport. Okay, let's get inside the cockpit here by pressing Control 1. So the first thing I want to set is the radio frequency, which has already been set to 111.90. And that's exactly what the information we have here on the approach template, 111.9. The next thing is we have to set this to 329 degrees for the VO1 in the CDI. Right now we have GPS, and if you press below the CDI, there's a little button. If you press this one, it should show VO or 1. It is a navigational path 1, and this has to be turned to 329 degrees. Let's go to 329 degrees. That will set our ILS radio path and frequency 329. Okay, we got 329, and we press this one once again, and we don't need VO or to be set. GPS is set and to 356 degrees, and if you press this button heading, it will reset to the degree set by the runway. All right. The next thing we want to do is set the altitude to say 3,000 feet. Then we say we want to get the vertical speed going at like 300, 400 feet. So that's set. Once we are airborne, we are going to be using heading and navigation, which will put us on this path, and we will follow with that. Let us get the show on the road here. So we are right here. So I wanted to pay attention to the things which I talked about. Okay, now I can hear the plane sound. My headphone was disconnected for just a earpiece. All right, so now we are ready to go. We have the throttle going here, ready to go, and let's release the brakes. I'm using the Logitech 3D Extreme 3D Pro. So once we get to 60 miles, nautical miles, we are going to be rotating. There you go, we're going straight here. Okay, 60 miles, just lift it and make sure you don't pull this too much, otherwise it's going to stall. If the angle of attack is too much, it's going to stall. And we want to make sure that we have a steady climb, and I wouldn't worry about the direction where it's going until we reach a steady altitude and start the autopilot. I want to get to like at least 500, 600 feet, and then we are right at like a 7.5 degree angle. So we're going to keep that one and steady. I won't worry about the direction it's going because it's kind of hard to keep that in place. While it is doing that, I am going to hold that one and I'm going to press this autopilot. Now, okay, now the autopilot is on. I can release the joystick. It's supposed to pick up the altitude steadily at 400 feet per minute, and so it's slowly picking up the speed, this one, and this is supposed to be, we press the heading and then press navigation, so it will follow this navigational path, which is right. So as you can see, it is rotating to the degree set by the navigational path, which is 300 and some degrees. It has to take a little turn, and as long as it follows this path, we are on the right track. And once it gets here, then the ILS frequency will be tuning in, and then we have to press the button, the CDI button here, until we see VO1, and then you press approach. That's the step we have to take. So let's look at here and see how we are doing. I think we are coming along fine. We are 22.3 nautical miles from the airport. We have clear skies, and we are slowly getting the altitude up here. If you want, we can go up a little higher, quicker by increasing, but I would just keep it steady because we still have to cover 20 miles. So there's no rush. Let's see if we can get inside and increase the altitude a little quicker. 600 feet. Maybe I just leave 500. See, now it's moving a little faster, so we are coming along fine here. Right, so once we get to Dudmi, and it will be followed by the ILS frequency, that's when we have to change the altitude to like 2,000 feet at Dudmi and 1,600 feet at Jolt. So let's remember that as we approach here. It is slowly increasing the altitude, and let's see inside if we can pick up anything else. So we are, see, this is GPS is lined up nicely with the direction of 336 degrees. Our speed is 116 nautical miles, which is fine. And when we are reducing the altitude, we have to keep in mind that the throttle has to be pulled back to make sure that it doesn't speed up. We can see the map here also. We don't need to worry about the map there. We can see the map. All right, so we can leave this map. Okay, I guess we have to just leave this map here for right now. And we are getting close to Dudmi right now. and that's our next step, is to make sure that see, it's climbing nicely here, the altitude. Let us see where we are. 17 nautical miles, 2200. I can actually leave at 2000 feet, so when it crosses Dudley, we will be right on target. So why not we do that, and let's reduce this to like 2500. See, it already reduced this one because we are approaching the set altitude, and we are on autopilot. We are GPS guided. Our altitude destination is 2500 feet, and that's what we're going to be reaching. And as soon as we reach Dudley, which I can see here and I can also see here, we will be changing the altitude to 2000 feet as said in that approach template. The speed is picking up, so what I can do is I can back off a little bit if I want to, the throttle, so it will keep it around like 120. So, and you can see the rotations here. It was 2500, now it's down to 2400. All these minute changes are very, very important to keep track of. Okay. Okay, let's do that one. He said we are. Okay, we bring it down here.
You are 15 miles southeast of Houston. Maintain present heading and altitude.
Okay, let's see. All right, so that's the tower frequency, and as soon as we reach that B, 33 ILS clear. All right. So we are to come down here a little quicker. So we got a 500 feet. So we keep at 2000 feet, and we just crossed Dudley. So we are on now the final ILS path here. So what I can do is I can just go to, it already changed to location 1 by itself. All I do is press approach. Now we are going to be on location, and it's going to be the G, this diamond is going to start moving down, and the altitude, it will also start moving down to 1600 by the time we reach Jolt. If it doesn't, then we just have to change it, and after that I think it will automatically change. As you can see, this is lined up nicely, and it changed the direction. Let's see what's happening outside. So here is the runway, which is says 9 nautical miles. We are at 2000 feet. Our speed is 150 nautical miles, which is fine. Our speed, throttle is 2350 RPMs, and when we get here we need to drop it to like 1600, and we can actually do that by coming to putting the target at 1600, and say the vertical speed we need to reduce it by like 300 feet, 400 feet, and it will get to that level by the time we approach Jolt. So it is starting to move, and there's the runway. It looks like it's lined up, but when it gets very close to the runway, somehow it swings from one side to the other, which makes it challenging. Let's hope it will be in the line where we want it, and then we can land in the middle of the runway. Otherwise we may have to kind of use the ailerons to see if we can line up. Okay, let's look inside and see what is happening. And as you can see, we are doing okay. Our speed is coming down, our altitude is coming down, so we are very close to the runway, about 6 nautical miles, a straight line here, and the speed is going up as we are coming down. So I pull the throttle back, so put it at like 110 nautical miles, and you can hear the sound coming down here. So, and as you can see here, let me center this. So we are approaching Jolt, and we are close to 1600 1900, so we need to come down a little. I think it should be able to, by the time it crosses, it will reach 1600. Then from there it will take control. See, it's the ILS landing is already taking control of this both the lateral and vertical movements. So it is coming down. Now we are 4 nautical miles. You see, it's automatically coming down. And let's see whether this is too fast. See, it is doing it. It's
Clear to land runway, tree right.
3 right.
67 and tree.
Okay, that's good. So there are a couple of things we need to do.
Runway, tree right, NIK 20.
Okay, so we are getting close. So we'll put the flap 1 down, and so reduce this throttle somewhat. We are pretty close. Reduce the throttle, and we are 1200 feet. Here is the runway. Reduce the throttle to like maybe 100 miles. So that looks okay so far. Let's see what else we need to pay attention. And when we get close to the runway, we reduce the speed to like 60 nautical miles, and then drop the throttle altogether. So the height is coming down. I hope we are in the right height here. So we need to reduce the speed. We are flap down to. I'm reducing the speed, and we are 800 feet. Now I have to do is take control of the autopilot off, and then take control of this one. I need to reduce the speed some more. I think I'll reduce the throttle to 60 degrees. All right. So far it is doing okay. 700 feet, and flap. I'll just wait a few more seconds before I drop the flaps. If I are too low, then I can give a little throttle, so I can get to the runway before it hits the buildings. We are still 500 feet above. I take you some more speed here, so we're not too close to the. Okay, I think we should be able to clear these buildings. Okay, let's reduce the speed, and we're going to be dropping the flaps. Keep going. That's good. 400 feet. Flaps down all the way. Number 3 flaps. Now our throttle is coming down 300 feet. I think we are in the middle of the runway. Reduce the speed some more. Reduce the speed. 200 feet. The speed is coming down. We are not quite on the runway yet. I have to give some more speed here, so that okay, so that is good. We are there. So I'm going to take off the autopilot and then land. Lift the drop up. Oh, that was rough. And brake.
NIK 20, exit runway when able.
Okay, that's I would say was little less than good attempt at using ILS landing. I hope you have been able to learn something, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. I think we still could have landed a little bit further. All right, so that is in a sense, let me see. So we use the frequency, which is very important. Then we have to do the location 1, which is 329, but it's 330 degrees. Then we use approach once it reaches the ILS strip. And in the initial part, we use the heading and navigation buttons. So that concludes this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will see you next time. Thank you.